Hey everyone, welcome to Skein Spider. Today's video is part 3, the third and final part of the Jigglypuff tutorial. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, go check those out. So grab your hooks and let's get started. The last part we need to crochet for our Jigglypuff is the curl. So to do that, we're going to make a magic circle and then put 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Round 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and repeat that 3 times, and that will bring us up to 9 stitches. Round 3 is going to be 2 single crochet followed by an increase repeated 3 times. Round 4 is 3 single crochet, 1 increase repeated 3 times. Rounds 5, 6 and 7 are each a round of single crochet. You can do either 3 rounds of 15 single crochet or just do 45 single crochet consecutively. Rounds 8 and 9 are the same. We begin with 5 slip stitches. So to do a slip stitch, go into your next stitch, yarn over, pull through. So you have 2 loops on your hook. And rather than yarning over and pulling through again, we're just going to skip the yarn over part and pull straight through the loop on our hook. And that's how you do a slip stitch. Now, if you tend to crochet fairly tightly, I'd recommend just easing up on your tension a little bit, because if you crochet your slip stitches too tight, they're hard to work into in the next round. So just ease up a little bit. 2 slip stitches, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to follow that with 10 single crochet or just single crochet until the end of the round. Round 9 is the exact same, 5 slip stitches followed by 10 single crochet. Round 10 also starts with 5 slip stitches. And then we're going to do 4 single crochet, 1 increase repeated twice. Round 11 is going to be 5 slip stitches and then 12 single crochet for the rest of the round. Round 12 is 5 slip stitches, then 5 single crochet, 1 increase repeated twice. Round 13, 5 slip stitches and then 14 single crochet. Round 14, begin with 5 slip stitches again, and then we're going to do 6 single crochet, 1 increase repeated twice. Both rounds 15 and 16 are 5 slip stitches followed by 16 single crochet. So do that pattern for 2 rounds. Round 17 is going to be a little bit different. We're going to start working in the round, but then we're going to turn back and work in rows, and then we're going to continue with our round. Now that might sound a bit confusing, but I will walk through it with you. Just know that I'm going to divide the pattern up down the bottom here into 4 parts. It's going to be part A, part B, part C, and part D. So to begin round 17, part A, all you need to do is start with 5 slip stitches and then 13 single crochet. And 13. Now you should have 3 stitches left in your round. We're going to leave those unworked for now. Okay, now starts round 17 part B. So for part B, we're going to turn our work as if we were working in rows. The way I remember to turn my work is as if I'm turning the page of a book. So I'm just going to turn my work, and I should be looking at the backs of the stitches of the side that's furthest away from me. So this side here, I'm looking at the backs of the stitches on the inside. And what we're going to do now is working into the stitches we just did. We're going to do 10 single crochet, starting from the very first stitch here. So the 13th single crochet we did in round 17 part A is the first one we work into in part B. Go into there, 1 single crochet, and then we're going to do 9 more, working in both the front and back loops of our stitches. Just count your stitches, make sure you have 10 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you do, we're going to turn our work again, turn it over. So I'm looking at the right side of the stitches now. And this is going to be round 17, part C. And we're just going to work 10 more single crochet back across the 10 single crochet we just did. Once again, go straight into that last stitch from the previous round. And that's going to be our first single crochet. 1. And into that last one, 10. Now for round 17 part D, all we're going to do is work straight into those last 3 stitches we had from when we did round 17 part A. So if you look closely, let me bring this up. You can see we've worked into this stitch here. We're going to skip that and go straight into the last 3. I like to fold the 2 rows of 10 single crochet I did down, and make sure the loop on my hook is tight, not large like this, because that will leave a large gap in your work. So pull it tight, fold the rows down a bit, and work straight into that first free stitch. 1, work into the next, 2, and then finally 3. Now at the end of that, round 17, including our 5 slip stitches, the first lot of single crochet we did in part A, and then the tops of the rows here we did from parts B and C, and then the 3 we finished off in part D, we should have 21 single crochet in total. And round 18 is just going to be to put a single crochet into each of those. So we're not starting with slip stitches this time. 1. I'm just about to do the 8th single crochet of round 18. So I've done that. Now as you can see, focus that up. Round 9 has already been worked into because that was the last round of part 17, round 17 part B. So what we're going to do is instead bring the top of round 17 here down, and we're going to work straight into that last stitch. So like we did before, make sure the loop on your hook is fairly tight, not stretched out. Bring it in tight, bring the row down, and then we're going to work straight into that stitch, and that's going to be stitch number 9 for round 18, and then just continue on. So stitch 10, round 19 is going to be very similar to round 17. We're going to start with the round, work 2 rows, and then we're going to finish the round. And once again, I'll break up the pattern down the bottom into A, B, C, and D just to make it a little bit easier. For round 19, we're going to start with 18 single crochet. And 18. Again, you should have 3 stitches left over. Leave those unworked for now. We're going to turn our work. So we're looking at the backs of the stitches. And we're going to start part B with 10 single crochet. Work into that very last stitch, so stitch 18 from part A. Turn your work again, and we're going to do 10 single crochet once more for part C. Work into that first stitch, so stitch 10 from part B, that is 1 single crochet, and then we're going to work 3 single crochet into those last 3 stitches, which is part D. So make sure that loop on your hook is tight, bring the row down and single crochet 1, 2 and 3. Once again, at the end of round 19 you should have 21 single crochet in total. Round 20 is going to be another round of just 21 single crochet. Remember, when you get to this little cliff here where we've done our rows of 10 single crochet, work the last one next to it, and then the next stitch goes into the first stitch at the top here. So we're going to jump from single crochet there to a single crochet there. After round 20, we're going to stop crocheting for a moment. Take your hook out, put your stitch marker in, and now we're going to need our wire. This is about approximately 21-22 centimeters long, and I've just folded over the end so it's not sharp. And also our stuffing. We're going to put a little bit of stuffing in the bottom so our wire doesn't poke through. It's just a bit of a barrier. Now you can, if you like, put the wire in at the very end. I prefer to stick it in now and then just continue crocheting the rest of the rounds, just because it's a little bit easier than trying to force the wire through all the stuffing at the end. So I'm going to put that in my wire. And then after I've got my wire in, I'm just going to continue to add to the stuffing up to about here, so it's not overflowing. that's enough stuffing for now. We're just going to continue that as we go. Put your hook back in, and let's go on to round 21, which is 1 increase in the first stitch followed by 20 single crochet. Round 22 is a round of single crochet, so 22 single crochet in total. Round 23 is 10 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated twice. Round 24 is just 24 single crochet all the way around. Round 25 is 11 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated twice. Round 26 is just another row of single crochet, 26 all up. At the end of round 26, we're just going to add a little bit more stuffing. Reinsert your hook, and we're going to start with 27. Now from this point on, we're going to be working in rows, not rounds. So row 27, begin with 21 single crochet. You should have 5 stitches remaining in your round. Don't work into those. What we're going to do is turn our work like we did when we were working on rounds 17 and 19. Don't chain one before you turn. This particular pattern doesn't require that. And then what we're going to do is work 18 single crochet back along that row. Round 29, we're going to turn our work again and do 18 more single crochet back in this direction. Round 30, turn your work, and again 18 single crochet. Round 31, turn work, and 18 single crochet. For round 32, we're going to turn our work again, but this time we're going to skip the first 3 stitches. So skip the first one, second, third, and our first single crochet is going to be into the 4th stitch. First single crochet into the 4th stitch there, and then we're going to continue and do 11 more single crochet, or 12 altogether. Round 33, we're going to turn our work again, and we're going to do 12 more single crochet back in the other direction. Row 34, turn your work. This time we're going to skip the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to do 8 single crochet. So skip 1, 2, work into the 3rd. Our last row, row 35, is just turning our work and then 8 single crochet all the way across. Now to finish, all we're going to do is single crochet around the entirety of our curl. So starting from the top here, we're going to put a single crochet at the end of each row. Then when we get down to the bottom, we're going to put a single crochet in each stitch of what's left of our rounds until we get to the other end of our rows, in which we're going to put a single crochet in the end, working our way up and then all the way back across until we reach the starting point again. So just a single crochet in each of the rows. Doing this just gives you a bit of a neater finish, and it makes it a little bit easier to sew the curl onto the body. Once you've reached the end of what would have been row 35, you can stop there. I think I said before to go back to the starting point. You don't have to because you already have that row of single crochet. So all you need to do is slip stitch into that first stitch of row 35 to finish off. And we want to leave an extra long tail. So snip that off. The reason we're leaving an extra long tail is because we're going to sew this part of the curl onto the body, but we also need enough to make sure the curl, the end of the curl, is attached to the side of the body so it stays in a curled up position. But also we're going to attach the side of the curl to the body so it lays flat against the head. So that's why we need the extra long tail for. If the body of your curl is not firm enough, go ahead and add some more stuffing. But we're not going to stuff the row part. We'll do that after we've sewed about 3/4 of that on, so the sewing will hold the stuffing in place. Now that we've crocheted all our Jigglypuff parts, it's time to put our hooks away and grab our needles because we're going to put our Jigglypuffs together. We're going to start off with the eyes. We need to attach the pupil to the backing of the eye, but first we're going to get rid of all these tails from our color changing. So all you need to do is, where did I put my needle? Oh, right here. So I'm going to take all these tails and thread them through my needle and weave through the backs of the stitches, not through the front, so you don't want to see the yarn. You're just going to go through the backs of the stitches, and we're going to weave them to the center, tie them off, and then snip the tails. Alright, grab your pupil. The first thing we're going to do is snip off this back tail. And then we want to line our pupil up diagonally opposite the light blue color changes. So if you've done one, it helps to line the eyes up next to each other so you can get the positioning correct. Thread your needle with the tail end of the pupil. And then to sew the pupil on, you're going to insert your needle into the next stitch. So we slip stitch to finish here. We're going to insert our needle into the next stitch and pull until the slip stitch pops through, because we should have 6 stitches in this round. The slip stitch doesn't count as a stitch. Once you've done that, let's tuck this tail away. Insert your needle through to the back of the eye pull firmly. We're going to move one stitch across. You can't really see it properly with all these tails in the way, but we're going one stitch over, back up through the eye, and then we're going to insert our needle under the back and front loop of the stitch we just came out from, and then go back into the next stitch in the round and pull firmly. From there, go straight through the eye. So of course my video decided to cut out, but I'm going to continue. Hopefully we didn't miss too much, but I'll have to see when I get to editing. So our tail's out the back of our eye. We're going to go one stitch across, we're making a circle shape, you know, obviously, because that's a circle. Then we're going to go back into the stitch that we came out from. We're going to go across to the next stitch in the round, go out into the body, one stitch over. I think that was two, whoops. Up through the same stitch we came out of, back into the next, and then into the body or the backing of the eye. And we're just going to continue that until we get back to the start. When your pupil is sewn on, flip over and just again weave through the back of your eye, the back of the stitches of your eye. And with that, our eyes are done and ready to be sewn onto the body. The next part we need to prepare is the ear. We're going to sew the inner ear onto the outer ear. Now this is going to be sewn on a little bit differently than the eye. For the eye, we wanted the V's of the outer round of the pupil exposed. For both the inner ear and everything else we're going to sew onto the body, we want to hide those V's. So the technique we use to sew on this inner ear to the outer ear is the same technique we're going to use to sew on the curl, the arms, the legs, the eyes, everything. So thread your, have it up the right way would help. Thread your needle. Now you can pin this inner ear on if you would like to. I usually don't for a piece this small because it's easy enough to do that like this and I don't end up stabbing myself a million times. So what we need to do is line up the bottom with, or the bottom of the inner ear with the second row up from the bottom of the outer ear. So there's one round here. We're going to sew into this second round. So line those up, pin it if you would like. And then what we're going to do is push our needle through the next stitch in the row and pull through that slip stitch we used to finish, just like we did at the start of sewing on the pupil. We're going to go into the stitch in the outer ear behind the inner ear one we just worked into and go one stitch across. So our needle is emerging one stitch across, following the shape of the inner ear. Pull through. We're going to go into the next stitch in the round, pull through firmly, and then we're going to insert our needle back into the stitch we just emerged from in the outer ear. So you can see where this black yarn is coming out from. That's where we're going to go back into, and we're going to push our needle one stitch across again. So our needle emerges roughly in line with the next stitch in the round of the outer ear. So pull through firmly, and as we do, that V pulls flat. So from there, go up under the next stitch, pull firmly, go back into the stitch you just emerged from, then one over, pull firmly so that V lays flat, up under the next stitch, once again into the outer ear, into the same stitch we emerged from, then go one across, under the next stitch, pull into the same stitch, go one across, and you're going to continue that the entire way around. Remember the bottom of your inner ear should line up with the second round up from the outer ear. To finish, I'm just going to weave the needle into the inner ear and go back through the backs of the stitches again. You can tie it off inside. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit messy, nobody's gonna see it. Tuck that away to hide it. And with that, we're ready to start attaching all our pieces to the body. Sorry for another abrupt ending, everyone. I'm still dealing with that medical stuff I was talking about last time, and I think this video was running a bit long anyway. The Jigglypuff tutorial will now be in 4 parts, or at this stage anyway. I'll see you all next week for the 4th and hopefully final part.